He's here. He is a killer, but he will be killed tonight. Come on, get up.
Halloween H20.
Hello there, my name is Chris. You're watching Cinemaniac Central, and happy Halloween, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. Hope the weather is nice for you guys. So, I want to celebrate Halloween by talking about one of my favorite sequels in the franchise. And it's third in my ranking. It's behind Halloween 2018, Halloween 281. It is Halloween H2O, 20 years later. So, Halloween H2O is directed by Steve Miner, and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, who returns to the franchise for the first time since Halloween 2. And she is now the headmistress of a school in Southern California. And Michael has somehow gotten her information from Marion, drives all the way from Illinois to California to track her down, and the two engage in a final confrontation, and Laurie hopes to end Michael's reign of terror once and for all. So, Halloween H2O, I don't have a whole lot of nostalgia for it as far as when it first came out. But I didn't watch it for the first time until about 2001 when it premiered on FX, and so I was really excited when I found out that it was premiered on TV. So I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And I didn't get to watch the full version of it until several years later. And so, but yeah, this is one of my favorite sequels in the franchise. I love Halloween H2O. Just getting to the positives. First off, performance-wise, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic here. I love her. I love this portrayal of Laurie Strode as far as like in the trauma sense. I prefer it over Halloween 2018. Here, she is a functioning alcoholic, and it's more realistic and it's more grounded for her character, and I love it. I love it. I love it a lot more better than Halloween 2018, where she's just kind of this Sarah Connor type that's been preparing for the last 40 years, with weapons and shit, ready to take on Michael. It doesn't feel too believable, and so and at first when 2018 came out, I didn't mind it. But the more I watched H2O since then, and the more I realized, hey, this version of Laurie is actually a lot better than that, I was like, yeah, I prefer this version in H2O versus Halloween 2018. The rest of the cast, you have Josh Hartnett, who plays her son. He's very good. He was in The Faculty the same year. You have LL Cool J, who plays a security guard. You have Michelle Williams, who plays Josh Hartnett's girlfriend. You have Adam Heinberg from Jumanji. You have Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, who was in She's All That. Justin Gordon-Levitt as well. Yeah, just a really great cast, and it's directed by Steve Miner, who directed Friday the 13th Part 2, Part 3, and also Lake Placid. Also, the movie does feel like Scream in a way, more so Scream than a Halloween movie. I think it's both pretty well equal. I know it's a negative for some, but not for me. I love Scream. I love Halloween, and for me, you put the two together, I think it's a really great mix. There's a lot of and one of the biggest reasons I love this movie is there are so many moments in this movie that I just really appreciate. I really love. Like you have Janet Leigh, who's also in this, who is Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. She was in Psycho. Her character in here is named Norma, so it's kind of funny that she interacted with a character, Norman Bates, and his mother's name was Norma. So I thought that was an interesting little nod there as well. The car that she drives is the same car that she drove in Psycho. Also, during the conversation between her and Jamie Lee Curtis, the music that's playing in the background, I think toward the latter part of the conversation, which you really can make it out better, is actually the Psycho theme. And I never even realized that until this last rewatch. and I was like, damn, that is cool. And so, yeah, really, really cool moment there. There's a moment also. There's a scene where she's having a discussion with her class about Frankenstein and how that is kind of like that situation with Frankenstein's monster and Frankenstein having to face their fears in order to get redemption and then move on with their lives. That's a great little parallel to Laurie's life and how she must face Michael Myers and stop running and face that once and for all. So that's really cool. Also, I love the score in here, the music, especially the opening credits to this movie. The opening credits is great, just how when you're reintroduced with Laurie, during this little nightmare that she has, where the camera pans from a blank blackboard to her desk with her son's picture on there, and then it pans to a closet, which leads to a flashback from the original, and then camera pans back to the blackboard or pans back to the desk with her son's photo being laying flat with a knife stuck to it, and then it pans to the blackboard with Laurie Strode written on it, and then it flashes to her screaming, and it's a nice little reintroduction to her character, and so that's really cool. The final showdown, which is the biggest thing we're waiting for, I love it. I just wish that it was a little bit longer. I wish we had more of it. And so that would attribute to this movie being at least maybe an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 35, just a little bit. But I love the showdown. I wish there was more of it. So this movie could have been a little bit longer. So that's my thoughts on that. But moving on to the negatives, and one thing that's a negative, which is not negative for me per se, I don't mind it. I really don't care. But I know a lot of fans do, and it's the fact that this movie came out in the summertime, late summer, and beginning of August, and so much like a movie that came out 5 years earlier called Hocus Pocus, which came out in July. The big difference there was one was a box office failure and the other one was not. Hocus Pocus, unfortunately, was the box office failure. It cost like $26 million. That was the budget. It made like it made $8 million in its first weekend, and finished fourth behind Jurassic Park, In the Line of Fire, and The Firm. And so yeah, it was a big disappointment. But fortunately for Hocus Pocus, over the last 30 years, it has become a cult classic when it comes to essential Halloween viewing. It's my second favorite family-friendly Halloween movie, right behind Ernest Scared Stupid. That's my absolute favorite. I love Ernest Scared Stupid. And so, but with Halloween H2O, on the other hand, given it's a franchise movie, this movie, it cost like $18 million, or $17 million, excuse me, $17 million, and it made $75 million during its theatrical run. And so, I think it's considered a box office success, and it made over quadruple of what it cost. So that's pretty good. Unfortunately for Resurrection, which came out in 2002, it cost $2 million less, but it only made half of what H2O made. So that's unfortunate for Resurrection. But on the other hand, it's not a really good movie. It's actually pretty entertaining, but that's a story for another day. But back to H2O. So yeah, that's a negative for some fans, because just the fact that it's released in the summertime, but it's supposed to be set during Halloween, and it is. It feels like a Halloween movie to a point, but it's not like the original Halloween or Halloween 2 or Halloween 4 or Halloween 6. And then my final negative, and the biggest one, and it's the one that pretty much everybody complains about, and I totally get it, and that is the inconsistencies of the masks. Now, the first few times that I watched this, I never really paid a whole lot of attention to it, but the last several years that I watched this, I began to notice it more and more. There's like 3 or 4 different masks that are used throughout this movie. You have like the curse mask that's used in the beginning, which I wish was the one that was used throughout the entire movie. You have this you have the one that's used for the most part throughout the movie, whenever Michael's walking around and when he's facing coming face to face with certain characters and shit. Then you have that white weird looking mask or whatever with the circular holes and circular mouth and shit that's used in some of the promotional stills and posters and also appears in some of the scenes as well. And then, of course, you had the notorious CGI mask whenever Charlie comes face to face with him. Um, and that's another great moment, also, that I mentioned. I forgot to mention in my positives. It was that when Michael and Laurie come face to face for the first time, whenever through that window hole, that's really awesome. I love that scene, and so that's actually one of the best scenes in the movie because one of the best moments in the movie, really. And so I love that. But yeah, the CGI mask it's bad. It looks terrible, and so but yeah, it's bad, but it's something that I can get by. I can forgive because there's just so much more about this movie that I absolutely love, and so yeah, that's just my thoughts on Halloween H2O. I love H2O with all my heart. You know, like I said, it's my fourth favorite in the franchise, and I love it. Um, I feel like it's gets a lot more hate than it deserves, and so I feel like it's really underrated, and so it really people should really kind of re-examine it more and kind of get past the whole mask thing and just get over the fact that it feels like Scream. I don't care that it looks like. I mean, if you're a Scream fan and if you're a Halloween fan, I don't see what the big deal is. So, but yeah, Halloween H2O, I love it. I give it a 8.5 out of 10. And so, yeah, great performances by Jamie Lee Curtis. Great return to form for the franchise. Great supporting performances from Josh Hartnett, Michelle Williams. You have the great score. Just a lot of great moments. That's just my thoughts on Halloween H2O. I'll have a playlist of all the Halloween videos that I've done, as well as a playlist of my Cine/a-thon videos for this month of October as well for you to check out. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below. What do you think of Halloween H2O? Where does this rank in your ranking of the Halloween franchise? I love you guys. You guys are the best. Have a happy Halloween, and I will see you next time.